Hey everyone, J.K. Whited here with the Baseball Band. Today I'm very excited to start a new video series where I'll be going up against the chalkboard here or drawing board and talk about simple things to help common problems. Okay, so things like the pop-up, for instance, is the first topic that we're going to get into today. Things that we see a lot of times, especially at the youth levels, high school and lower generally, but also that can be happening at higher levels as well, college and professional baseball, so on and so forth. And today I thought, like I said, we'd start with the pop-up, okay? And pop-up is something you see all the time. And I put the word pop-up in quotations because sometimes coaches mistake fly balls for pop-ups. So they say stop, popping up or flying out if the ball's in the infield. You got to be, you have to understand your terms and the words you're using. We don't mind fly balls as much. Fly balls can still get guys over from second, from first sometimes if they're deep enough. Get guys in from third base, so we want to understand that pop-ups and fly balls are not the same thing at all. So you have to be careful. When pop-ups occur, they're generally speaking going to be in the infield, foul territory, shallow outfield. Now sometimes you will have a guy who does create enough bat speed to kind of get it out in the outfield more. But generally speaking, you understand when a pop-up is a pop-up. It's a glancing type of a contact. The hitter kind of feels it. It's very thin. The sound is different. It's not that nice solid contact that you want to hear. It's a much thinner type of a sound when you glance the bat and the ball the wrong way, and that's what we're going to get into. It's not necessarily a bat speed problem. Sometimes it's where the bat is coming from at the point of contact or before the point of contact, rather to get started, and then how it comes into contact with the ball. So if we have a baseball, okay, and we know that this baseball is coming down, right, towards the catcher, right? We know that, okay? We have to understand first that the best way to hit that ball, as we know, is back on the way up, okay? So if I want the best transfer of energy, the best bang for my buck, and get out what I'm putting in, then I want the bat to match the plane of the pitch. We already know that. If you follow the Baseball Band, a lot of other people understand that more now. You're starting to hear more people talk about it, J.D. Martinez and all those guys. So we know that, all right? But where does the pop-up come from? Well, generally, it comes from a very aggressive downward plane. So the barrel is traveling from above the ball downward, and then what happens is you kind of cut this portion of the ball. Okay, you kind of cut down to that bottom back half of the ball, or back portion of the ball, which sends the ball straight up towards the sky, okay? And because of that glancing contact, more of the energy is directed this way towards the ground, and the ball is then deflected upwards into the air, okay? And so you're going to get that a lot with that type of swing. Or top of the ball, which obviously creates more ground balls. So you're really not getting, there's no win-win, there's no winning when you swing down the ball like that, really, no matter what you hit. Now, if you hit the very back of the ball, all right, kind of that middle spot, then you're going to get maybe a low liner, but that's that's best case scenario, okay? Also, you're going to see kind of flatter contacts, okay, where the bat's coming in more on a flat plane through the ball, all right? And then we'll also send the ball in an upward trajectory as well, cutting the ball in the bottom half, much like a pitching wedge is used in golf. If you're a baseball coach or dad and you play golf, you're telling kids to swing down, you're basically handing them a pitching wedge, okay? The pitching wedge is designed to cut the ball into the air very sharply so that it comes back down and lands near the hole in a very short distance from the pin. That is not what we want to do when we hit a baseball, obviously, okay? So, what are some causes? All right, we know downward barrel, knob to the ball type training, okay? Get out of it. If you're doing that kind of stuff, it's only going to create more of those pop-ups, okay? Flat shoulder / bat rotations, okay? So if my shoulders are rotating very flat, most pitches that are strikes are below my shoulders. I have to get my barrel and my shoulder rotating down first behind me so that I can then work back up into the path. So if you have flat shoulders, you better hope every pitch is up here somewhere where you can maybe square it up, maybe get on plane. Still very tough, all right? Timing issues, okay? So if you're early a lot, that's going to create some undercuts of the ball as well. Even if you do swing up on plane, sometimes being early can cause some mishits underneath the bottom of the ball. Also, high pitch misses, okay? So a higher pitch, like I mentioned before, is going to be a little bit more of a direct path to the ball, okay? A little less down with the shoulder, but still a little bit. because we know that nothing really shoulder height is a strike anyway. At the youth levels, maybe, again, those are like outlier circumstances that you want to be prepared for, but it's not something you train all the time. All right, so how do we fix it? Well, we got to swing up. All right, we got to get on the pitch path. Okay, we got to get on plane early in our swing with speed. Okay, early and on plane doesn't mean long and slow. All right, it means longer, yes, in the space that I cover, but faster bat speed. Okay, look at the angles. Okay, where's your head in position where your front foot is to the ground? Okay, where are my shoulders rotating in angles and things like that? So it's an angles game when it comes to cutting the ball. Right, it's not necessarily a bat speed thing. You could have a player swinging the bat extremely fast, but they're cutting the ball every time, so they're putting out 100 and getting 50 back instead of putting in 80 and getting 85 out. We want to make sure that their angles are good. Do video, check where their head and spine angles are, things like that. All right, from a timing thing, start later. Okay, get your leg kicks going a little bit. Experiment with something to slow you down so that you give yourself more time to prepare, more bat speed, but also give the ball more time to get a little bit closer. Also, on high pitches, like we talked about, attacking more the top of the ball if you have to. Okay, it's just kind of a verbal cue. We always obviously want to hit below center, but if we're downward cutting on some balls, all right, sometimes thinking about swinging up and attacking the top half might help a player lift their barrel up a little bit and get them squaring the ball up a little bit better. Okay, things to avoid saying. All right, things like stop dipping. That's like the first thing that you hear every coach say when a kid pops it up. You're dropping your shoulder too much. Well, do you really know that, or is that just something that you were told when you were coaching? Right. You have to know, okay, and I'll get to that here in a second. Also, things to avoid, high T, low T type stuff where you see a player, well, he's popping up, so we're really going to hammer him down and get him going down towards the ball with the high T, low T out in front. You see that all the time. All that's going to create is either A, more ground balls, which you know isn't going to work out, especially as that player gets older. So, yeah, like maybe you help them out right now, but you only hurt them later on. All right, and then it's only going to create more of that downward cutting action of the barrel through the ball, and you're only going to make the problem worse. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is avoid not knowing. Okay. I know that sounds very simple, but so many coaches just don't know. Now we know that they volunteer a lot of their time, but you have to know because you could set a kid up on a course that only makes it worse and harder to get out of as they get older. So you have to know these things. What's a pop up? What's a fly ball? What does it mean to swing up the right way versus the wrong way? Can you swing up too much in pop-up? Yeah, technically you could. It's very, very hard to do. You see a lot of coaches sometimes with fungos trying to hit pop-ups to the catcher. It's hard to do. But when we swing up and strike the ball well, we're going to do a lot of damage. So I hope this helped clarify some things from a physics and directional force kind of a standpoint. And I hope some of these things you can go ahead and start working on and fixing some things. Please visit our website. We have lots of drills, Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. We have lots of drills out there to help these issues. So please check us out, and thank you for your time today.